The cave was silent, cold, and deep. Evan held the tiny alien girl close as they walked slowly through the dark passage. The stone walls glowed faintly with the same blue color that shimmered under her skin. It was as if the cave recognized her, like it had been waiting for her to return. The deeper they went, the safer Evan felt. The sounds of metal hunters faded behind the thick stone wall. No beams of red light, no heavy footsteps, no cold mechanical voices. Only the soft echo of his breathing, and the gentle hum coming from the girl's glowing patterns. She rested weakly against his chest. Her glow flickered like a candle almost out of flame. Evan whispered, "You're safe now. We made it. You're going to be okay." But she didn't answer with sound. Instead, she lifted her small hand and touched his neck again. A soft blue tone filled the air, spreading through the cave like ripples on water. The walls lit up one by one. Symbols appeared, old, curved markings that told a story. Evan stopped and watched as the cave slowly came alive with ancient blue light. The girl moved her hand toward the symbols, and they responded with a brighter glow. Then Evan saw it clearly, a story carved into the stone. The history of her people. The glowing pictures showed tiny beings like her, living peacefully on a world of light. Then Evan saw dark shapes falling from the sky. Machines, hunters, fire. Her planet being destroyed just like in the visions she had shown him. But then the story changed. He saw images of Earth, humans, and a circle of glowing lines that connected the two species. Evan frowned. "Your people. They knew humans?" The girl looked at him with slow, tired eyes and touched one of the symbols. A bright streak of blue light moved from the wall to Evan's chest. Right where she had touched him before. He understood. Her people believed humans carried something rare, something strong, something powerful, something that could protect them, a heart that could shield even the smallest life. She hadn't chosen him by accident. Her instincts weren't random. She came to him because she sensed the same strength her people had trusted long ago. She chose him because he was human. Suddenly, the cave shook. A loud boom vibrated through the stone floor. The girl gasped softly and grabbed his shirt. Evan's heart raced. "No, they're outside. They're trying to break in." The hunters had found the cave. The ceiling cracked slightly. Dust fell in small clouds. Heavy impacts hit the wall again and again, each strike stronger than the last. Evan looked down at the girl. She was frightened, but she was also glowing brighter than before. Her patterns moved quickly, filling her tiny body with light. "No," Evan whispered. "You're too weak. Don't use your power again. You'll hurt yourself." She looked at him with sad, gentle eyes, and then stepped out of his arms. Evan reached for her. "Wait, no." But she shook her head. Slowly, she walked toward the center of the cave floor where the ancient symbols formed a circle. Her feet glowed with every step she took. The cave responded. Light shot upward, forming a dome of blue energy around them. The symbols on the walls pulsed like a beating heart. Another explosion shook the outside wall. A crack appeared in the stone door. The alien girl turned back to Evan. She touched her small glowing hand to her chest, and then pointed at him. A message formed inside his mind. "I chose you because your heart is strong. You saved me. Now let me save you." Evan shook his head, tears gathering in his eyes. "No, we protect each other. I'm not letting you do this alone." He stepped into the glowing circle with her. The light wrapped around both of them, connecting their energy. Her glow became brighter, stronger, no longer flickering. She held his hand tightly. The cave hummed, rising to a powerful tone. The hunters outside struck the wall again. This time, the cave answered. A massive pulse of blue energy exploded outward from the stone, tearing through the hunters outside. The metal machines were thrown across the forest, their red lights flickering out forever. The ground fell silent. Inside the cave, the light faded slowly. Evan looked down at the tiny alien girl. Her glow was softer now, peaceful, warm, not weak, but calm. She leaned against him, exhausted but alive. He picked her up gently. "You did it." "We did it." Outside, the forest was quiet once more. No hunters. No beams. No danger. Just the soft glow of hope in his arms. The girl curled against his chest and whispered a tiny sound, one that meant safety, trust, and gratitude. She had refused to leave him. And now, Evan understood why. Together, they stepped toward the light of the new day, knowing the universe had changed forever because of their bond. Evan stared in shock. You protected me." Her glow brightened even more, and with a sudden burst of energy, she released a wave of blue light that blasted the hunter across the forest. It crashed into a tree, metal pieces falling off its body. Sparks flew from its joints. Its red eyes flickered weakly. Evan tried to stand, but his legs were shaking. The girl slowly floated back down and landed in his arms. But immediately, her glow dimmed again. Her patterns faded into a dull blue. She looked weaker, much weaker than before. Evan held her close. Hey, it's okay. I've got you. That was amazing, but you didn't have to protect me." She pressed her forehead to his chest, breathing weakly. Evan could feel her exhaustion. She had used too much energy. Her powers were incredible, but they came at a terrible cost. Evan lifted her gently and walked away from the broken hunter. He knew more were coming. The explosion of light was too bright. The other hunters must have seen it. As he moved deeper into the forest, he whispered softly, "You saved my life. I should be the one protecting you, not the other way around." The girl looked up at him with tired silver eyes. She touched his cheek, sending a soft warm glow through his skin. It felt like she was telling him something important. She wasn't protecting him because she was strong. She was protecting him because she cared. Because she trusted him. Because their bond was real. Evan felt something shift inside him. He wasn't just running to save a tiny alien anymore. He was protecting someone who had risked everything for him. Someone who believed in him more than he believed in himself. Suddenly, he heard rustling from both sides of the forest. 2 more hunters stepped out from the thick bushes, their metal legs clicking sharply. Red eyes glowed brighter than before. Evan's heart dropped. The girl tried to lift her hand again, but her glow was faint. She didn't have enough energy to use her power again. Evan whispered, voice shaking, No, don't try. You'll hurt yourself." The hunters moved closer. Evan took a deep breath and stepped in front of her this time. His legs trembled. His chest tightened. But he did not move away. "If you can protect me," he whispered to her, "then I can protect you too." The hunters charged. Evan held her tight, preparing for the worst, but the ground beneath them suddenly shook. Soft blue ring of light spread outward from where they stood, covering the forest floor like a ripple in water. The hunters stopped instantly, confused by the unknown signal. The alien girl opened her eyes and whispered a faint tone, guiding him, "Run." He did, with her weak glow lighting the path. Evan ran toward the cave she had shown him in her visions. It was their only hope, their only safe place. And this time, they would protect each other. Evan ran through the forest with the tiny alien girl held tightly in his arms. Her glow was weak, but it still gave him a dim blue light that helped him see the path ahead. The forest air felt colder now, heavier with fear. Every sound behind him made his heart jump. Branches snapped. Metal legs scraped the ground. Red lights flashed between the trees. The hunters were not far. They were chasing him with full speed. Evan breathed hard, but he didn't slow down. The tiny alien girl clung to him with her small glowing hands. Every time her glow flickered, Evan felt her trembling. She was exhausted. Using her power earlier had drained more energy than she could handle. "Just hold on," Evan whispered between breaths. "We're almost there." I promise. We're almost there. But a part of him knew he didn't even know how far there was. He had only seen her vision, a dark cave hidden deep inside the forest. He didn't know the exact way. He only hoped she would guide him. Suddenly, she touched his neck with her small glowing hand. A soft tone escaped her lips, a musical sound, gentle but clear. At first, Evan didn't understand. Then something strange happened. The trees ahead shimmered in faint blue light, forming a faint path only he could see. She was guiding him. Evan ran toward the glowing trail, trusting her completely. Behind them, the hunters screeched in frustration. Their red eyes flashed brighter as they followed the blue traces left in the air. The heavy thud of their metal legs shook the ground. Evan jumped over fallen branches, ducked under low tree limbs, and pushed through thick bushes. His legs hurt. His lungs burned. But he didn't stop. The alien girl held on, pressing her forehead against his chest, as if she could feel the beat of his heart pushing her forward. A sharp beam of red light shot past them. The hunters were close enough to fire again. Evan dropped to the ground just in time. The beam sliced through the trees, burning a long black line into the bark. Smoke rose from the leaves. "That was close," Evan whispered. The girl whimpered softly, sensing how near the danger was. More beams followed. Each one lit up the forest like lightning. Evan dodged left, then right, then hid behind a tree for a second. The hunters scanned the area again. He could see their dark shapes moving slowly, ready to attack. Evan swallowed hard. "We have to keep going," he whispered. But the moment he stepped out from behind the tree, the forest floor shook violently. Boom! A massive hunter bigger than the others landed in front of him, its metal legs crashing into the ground. Its red eyes focused on Evan and the girl. It raised both arms, preparing to strike. Evan backed away, holding the girl tightly. "No. No, stay back." The girl tried to use her power. She lifted her small hand, but her glow flickered and faded. She was too weak. She couldn't protect him this time. The giant hunter took a step forward. Evan didn't think. He didn't plan. He simply acted. He turned and ran in the opposite direction, though every part of him wanted to collapse from fear and exhaustion. The hunters roared behind him, metal claws scratching the dirt as they gave chase. "Don't give up," he whispered to the girl. "We're almost there. Please stay with me." The glowing path ahead of him flickered again. Trees shifted in his vision, guiding him to the left. Evan followed instantly. The forest opened into a narrow valley. Tall rocks formed a natural tunnel. At the end of the valley was a giant stone wall covered in moss and vines. The girl lifted her hand weakly and pointed. Evan looked closer. A symbol glowed on the stone, the same symbol he had seen appear on his chest earlier. "This is it," Evan said breathlessly. "The cave. It's here." He placed his hand on the glowing symbol. The stone trembled, then slid open silently, revealing a dark entrance. But just as Evan stepped toward the cave, the hunters appeared at the mouth of the valley. Their red eyes burned like fire. They had found them. The giant hunter charged first. Evan had barely 1 second to make a choice. He tightened his hold on the alien girl and dove into the cave. The stone door began to close behind them. A metal arm shot forward, but the door sealed shut just in time. Boom! The hunters crashed into the stone wall, but it didn't open. Inside the cave, everything fell silent. The girl's glow dimmed into a soft whisper of light. She looked up at Evan with tired eyes, her tiny hand touching his heart again. He held her close, breathing heavily. "We made it," he whispered. "We're safe. For now." But both of them knew this was not the end. This was only the beginning of something far bigger. If you want, I can now write. He reached out and touched one of the glowing patterns on her arm. Instantly, a spark of blue light shot through his mind. Evan gasped and pulled his hand back, but it was too late. The vision hit him like a wave. He saw a sky filled with fire. A world far from Earth. Tall buildings collapsing under heavy machines. Creatures like her, small glowing beings, running, screaming, hiding. And the same metal hunters chasing them, capturing them, dragging them away. Evan froze. The vision felt real. Too real. He could smell the smoke. He could hear the screams. It was like he had stepped into her memories. When the vision ended, Evan looked at the girl again. She was awake now, staring at him with her silver eyes. She blinked slowly, as if she knew exactly what he had seen. "You showed me," Evan whispered. "Your home. Your people." She crawled closer to him, weak but determined. She touched his hand again, but this time more gently. A soft blue glow wrapped around their fingers. Evan did not pull away. Instead, he let her share her feelings. Her glow told him things she could not say with words. She was alone. She was scared. She had escaped the hunters. And she chose him. Why him? What made her trust a human she had never met? The answer came in another small vision, shorter this time. He saw himself, walking in the forest, lonely, quiet, kind. He saw the moment she first sensed him, the warmth she felt when she hid near him, the comfort she felt the moment he lifted her. She chose him because his heart felt safe. Evan swallowed. He never thought of himself as important. He was just a simple man with a simple life. But to this tiny alien girl, he was everything she had left. Her glow brightened again, rising and falling like soft waves. But suddenly the glow flickered, and she collapsed into his arms. Evan caught her immediately. Hey, are you okay?" Her breathing was shallow now. Her glow was fading again, weaker than before. Evan noticed something he hadn't seen earlier. Whenever he held her, the glow steadied. Whenever he moved too far away, she dimmed. His presence was keeping her alive. Evan took a deep breath. "Okay, so you're connected to me somehow. I don't know why. But I'm not going anywhere." He held her close, and slowly her glow returned, brighter than before, warm and gentle. She opened her eyes and touched his chest, right above his heart. Blue light passed from her fingers into his shirt, forming a faint symbol that disappeared after a moment. Evan didn't know what it meant, but it didn't feel dangerous. It felt like trust. "Like a bond forming," he whispered. "You're safe with me. I promise." Suddenly the cabin shook. A deep metallic roar echoed from the forest. Evan looked out the window quickly. A massive metal hunter, larger than the others, stood at the edge of the trees. Its red eyes glowed brighter than the morning sun. It had found a clue. It was getting closer. Time was running out. Evan turned to the alien girl, who now shimmered with a soft blue light. She looked up at him with determination, as if she knew what was coming. "Your secret. Your power," Evan whispered. "I understand now. They want you because you're special." She placed her small glowing hand on his again, and Evan felt a final message from her. "You protect me. I protect you." And the bond between them grew stronger, far stronger than he ever imagined. Morning light tried to enter the small cabin. But the forest outside was still dark, as if the night refused to leave. Evan stood near the window, holding the tiny alien girl close to his chest. Her glow had returned, but remained soft, like a small candle burning in a storm. She clung to his shirt tightly, sensing the danger moving outside. Evan looked through the trees. The large metal hunter he saw earlier was not alone now. 3 smaller hunters had joined it. They moved in perfect silence, their metallic legs digging into the ground with sharp clicks. Their red scanning lights swept across the forest floor like moving blades. They were searching for her. And they were getting close. Evan whispered, Don't worry. I'm here. I won't let them take you. The alien girl responded by pressing her tiny glowing hand against his chest. Her touch filled him with a warm calmness, something he desperately needed in that terrifying moment. A sudden high-pitched hum rose in the air, growing louder and sharper. Evan stepped back from the window, heart pounding. A ship sleek black and shaped like a jagged wing hovered above the trees. It moved slowly, almost lazily, but its presence made the entire forest fearful. Leaves shook. Birds fled. The ground felt heavier under Evan's feet. The alien girl buried her face in his shirt, trembling violently. This ship was not here to rescue her. It was here to capture her. Evan realized something important. These hunters were not just machines. They were controlled, piloted, designed for a single purpose: find and take back every glowing alien child like her. The cabin lights flickered as a scanning beam from the ship passed over the roof. Evan felt his stomach twist. He needed to hide. He needed to keep her safe. He checked the back door. It was still locked. The windows were covered. But would wooden walls stop a machine built for war? No, he needed more than wood. He needed a plan. He crouched beside the alien girl and whispered, "If they find us, what should I do? How do I protect you?" She lifted her head with effort. For the first time, she placed both her glowing hands on his cheeks. A soft blue light entered his mind, forming a small vision. He saw a cave. Dark, hidden, deep within the forest. A safe place. A place where her people once hid long ago. Evan blinked as the vision faded. "A cave? You want me to take you there?" She nodded weakly. But leaving the cabin meant stepping into danger. The hunters were everywhere. The ship circled above like a giant vulture searching for prey. Evan took a long breath. "We'll go when the moment is right." But the moment came sooner than he expected. A loud crash shook the front of the cabin. Dust fell from the ceiling. Evan rushed to the window and saw one of the smaller hunters standing right outside the door. Its red eyes flashed rapidly. It had detected something. Not good. "Not good at all," Evan whispered. The alien girl's glow brightened, suddenly bright enough to light the whole room. Evan looked down at her, surprised. She wasn't trembling this time. She was preparing. Her patterns glowed like moving lightning. She pressed her hand against his arm. Another vision entered his mind, this time stronger and clearer. She showed him how she escaped the first time. How she used her power to stun the hunters. How she exhausted all her energy because she was alone. But with him near her, her energy grew faster, brighter. Stronger. She was telling him something important. They were stronger together. The cabin door shook again. The metal hunter was pushing against it. Wood cracked. The ship outside hummed louder, lowering toward the ground. Evan held her tightly. "We have to move now." She nodded, her glow steady and brave. He pushed open the back window, climbed out quietly, and began to run into the thick forest. The alien girl held onto him, her tiny fingers gripping tightly. Behind them, the cabin door finally shattered. The hunters entered the empty room, scanning everything, but Evan and the girl were already far away. Branches scratched his arms as he ran. Leaves splashed under his feet. The morning air felt cold, sharp, heavy. But the girl kept whispering soft tones into his chest, guiding him, giving him courage. Red lights flashed behind them. The hunters had seen movement. They followed fast, their metallic steps shaking the ground. Evan did not look back. He only ran deeper into the forest. He knew one thing. The hunters were now fully aware he had her. They would not stop. They would not turn back. They would not rest. They had arrived on Earth. And now, the real chase had begun. Evan ran deeper into the forest with the tiny alien girl clinging tightly to his chest. Every step felt heavy, every breath sharp, but he didn't stop. The sound of metal legs hitting the ground grew louder behind him. The hunters were faster than him, faster than any human. Evan knew he couldn't outrun them forever. Branches whipped against his face as he pushed through thick bushes. The girl held onto him like her life depended on it. Her glowing patterns flickered fast, changing from soft blue to bright white. She sensed danger deep, impossible danger. Evan whispered, breathless, "Don't worry, I'm here. I won't let them take you." But even he wasn't sure if he could keep that promise. The forest suddenly went silent. No wind, no birds, no rustling leaves. Even the distant hum of the ship faded. Evan slowed down, confused, his heart pounding. Then he heard it. A loud metal roar behind him. Evan spun around just in time to see one of the hunters leap from the shadows. Its long legs hit the ground with a heavy thud. Red eyes locked onto Evan, scanning him. A cold mechanical voice spoke in a language Evan didn't understand, but the girl did. She trembled, her glow turning into a frightened white light. Evan stepped back, holding her close with both arms. The hunter raised one of its metal arms. A bright red beam began to charge at the center of its palm. Evan saw the danger. He tried to move, but he slipped on the wet ground and fell backward. The girl let out a sharp cry, fear, warning. Desperation. The beam shot forward. Evan closed his eyes, but the pain never came. Instead, he felt warmth. He opened his eyes slowly. The tiny alien girl was floating in the air in front of him, her arms stretched out wide. Her entire body glowed with intense blue light, brighter than anything he had seen before. The beam from the hunter hit the glowing shield around her, but it could not break through. The shield pushed the red beam backward like water pressing against glass. The hunter took a step back, confused. Evan was a quiet young man who lived near the edge of a deep forest. His house was small, simple, and peaceful, far away from the noise of the city. Most nights, he walked home from work by using a narrow path through the trees. It saved him time, and he enjoyed the calm air. But on this night, something felt different. The forest was too silent, too still, as if nature was holding its breath. He walked slowly, listening to the wind move through the leaves. Then he stopped. He heard it, a soft sound, like a tiny cry. It was not loud or sharp. It sounded like someone was trying to hide their voice, like someone was scared and alone. Evan frowned and looked around. He thought it might be a baby animal, maybe injured or lost. He stepped closer to the sound, moving toward a fallen log that lay on the side of the path. The crying sound came again, this time a little clearer. Evan felt a strange worry rising in his chest. He pushed a branch aside and bent down to look behind the log. His eyes widened immediately. There, curled up in the dirt, was a small glowing figure. At first, he did not understand what he was seeing. The glowing light was soft, like the shine of the moon on water. Then the shape moved. It lifted its head slowly, and two bright silver eyes stared at him, large, round, and full of fear. The tiny creature was no bigger than a kitten. Her skin shimmered faintly, glowing blue and silver as she breathed. She looked fragile, almost breakable, like she could vanish if he touched her. Evan froze. This was not an animal. This was not human. This was something else entirely. The little creature tried to stand, but her legs shook. When she saw Evan step back, she panicked. With surprising speed for her size, she rushed toward him on tiny feet. Before Evan could react, she wrapped her small arms around his leg and held on tightly. Her grip was weak but desperate, as if she believed he was the only safe thing in the world. "Hey." "It's okay," Evan whispered softly, though he was not sure if she could understand him, but she did not let go. She pressed her head against his knee and trembled. Evan slowly knelt down, moving carefully because he did not want to scare her more. When he reached out his hand, she flinched at first, but then she touched his fingers with her own tiny glowing hand. Her skin felt warm, like soft light. He lifted her gently, and she immediately grabbed his shirt. Her eyes stayed fixed on his face, studying him. It felt like she was searching for something. Maybe kindness, maybe safety, maybe hope. Evan sighed. Whatever she was, she needed help. Then the forest flashed. A burst of bright, unnatural light swept across the trees behind him. Evan turned fast. 3 more flashes followed, moving across the sky like searchlights. The lights were silent, but they cut through the darkness with sharp, white beams. It looked like something was scanning the forest. Searching for something, searching for her. The tiny alien girl whimpered softly and hid her face against Evan's chest. Her glowing skin dimmed with fear. Evan felt his heart jump. If these lights were looking for her, then whoever controlled them was not friendly. The way her body shook told him she had escaped from something dangerous. Another flash cut across the treetops, closer this time. The forest floor lit up for a second, and Evan could see strange shadows moving between the trees. They were tall, thin shapes too straight to be animals, too quick to be human. Something was out there, and it was moving toward him. Evan knew he could not stay here. He had to move. He had to protect her. He held the tiny alien girl close against his chest and stood up quickly. She held onto him even tighter, her small fingers gripping his shirt. Without looking back, Evan began to walk fast toward his cabin. His heartbeat matched his steps, quick, heavy, nervous. As he moved deeper into the forest, the lights behind him continued to flash, growing closer. The shadows moved toward the path, scanning the ground as if searching for clues. Evan did not know who they were or what they wanted, but he understood one thing clearly. The tiny alien girl chose him, and she would not let him go. Now it was his turn to make sure she stayed safe. Evan reached his small wooden cabin with the tiny alien girl still holding tightly onto him. The forest behind him was no longer silent. Strange flashes of white and red light kept glowing between the trees, moving slowly like hunters sweeping through the dark. Each light made the girl in his arms tremble. Evan could feel her fear, like a small heartbeat tapping against his chest. When he stepped into the cabin and closed the door, the girl finally loosened her grip a little. But she still held the front of his shirt, refusing to let go. Evan spoke softly to her, trying to make her feel safe. "You're inside now. No one can hurt you here." She looked up at him with her silver eyes, as if she understood every word. Evan could not explain why, but her gaze made him feel a strange, warm connection, something he had never felt with any person or animal. It was like she trusted him completely, even though they had met only minutes ago. He gently placed her on the old sofa near the fireplace. But the moment he removed his hands, she panicked again. Her tiny glowing fingers grabbed his sleeve, pulling him back toward her. It was clear she did not want distance between them. She wanted him close for safety or comfort or something deeper. All right, Evan whispered with a small smile. "I'm not leaving." He sat on the floor beside the sofa so she could still hold his arm. Her glowing skin dimmed a little, but she slowly relaxed. The cabin felt warmer now, almost peaceful, except for the soft shaking of the windows each time a strange sound echoed from the forest. Evan stood up to get her food, and she cried out softly, reaching for him. He paused, confused but gentle. "I'm just getting you something to eat. I'll be right here." This time she allowed him to move, though she kept her eyes on him the entire time, watching him like he was the only safe thing in the world. Evan warmed some milk and poured it into a small cup. When he sat beside her again, she crawled into his lap without hesitation and drank the milk while holding his shirt. Her small glowing wrist had a strange symbol on it, smooth, round and bright like a moon. When Evan spoke, the symbol glowed brighter. It felt as if his voice comforted her in some mysterious way. Maybe it was a language connection. Maybe it sensed emotion, or maybe aliens understood more than humans thought. While she drank, Evan heard a distant humming sound from outside. The cabin's wooden walls vibrated gently, like something heavy was moving through the forest. Evan's face tightened with worry. He set the milk aside and looked out through a small corner of the window. What he saw made his breath stop. 3 tall metal figures stood between the trees. Their bodies were thin, sharp, and shaped like mechanical hunters. Their heads glowed red as they scanned the ground. Light beams moved across the dirt, across the logs, across the bushes, searching for tracks. Searching for her. The alien girl sensed the danger before Evan even turned back. Her glow dimmed completely, and she crawled deeper into his arms. She buried her face in his chest, trembling like a scared child hiding from a nightmare. "It's okay," Evan whispered again. Though he wasn't sure if it was true, one of the metal hunters raised its head, scanning the air. A pulse of red light stretched across the forest. It passed right over Evan's cabin. The windows glowed red for a second, then returned to normal. Evan's heart pounded. "They know she's close," he thought. He looked down at the little alien girl. Her breathing was fast and frightened, and she held onto him desperately, refusing to let even one finger slip away. Something inside Evan changed in that moment. He wasn't just protecting a random creature anymore. He was protecting someone who trusted him completely, fully, fearlessly. "Don't worry," he whispered to her. "I won't let them take you." Her glow brightened a little at his words, as though his promise gave her strength. Evan locked every window, every door, and placed blankets around her to keep her warm. She watched every movement he made, but never tried to leave his side. Even when he moved only 2 steps away, she would stretch her glowing hands toward him. Frightened he might disappear, so he stayed close. He sat beside her again, and she instantly climbed into his lap, curling against him like a tiny light-filled child. Evan gently placed his hand on her back. For the first time that night, she stopped shaking. The hunters outside continued their search, their red lights cutting through the forest. But inside the cabin, the little alien girl held onto the human who had saved her, and she refused, absolutely, refused to let him go. Evan barely slept that night. The forest outside did not calm down. Strange humming sounds kept echoing between the trees, and every few minutes, a red beam of light passed over his cabin walls. The metal hunters were still searching, and the tiny alien girl still would not leave his side. By early morning, she had fallen asleep in his lap, her small glowing body curled like a kitten. Evan carefully lifted her and placed her on a soft blanket near the fireplace. She released a soft sound, almost like a sigh, and her glowing skin flickered gently like a fading candle. Evan watched her for a long moment. There was something different about her glow now. The patterns on her skin, faint blue lines, moved slowly, almost like living light. They shifted and swirled as she breathed. He had never seen anything like it in his life. It was beautiful, but strange, alien. He sat beside her and whispered, "Who are you? And why are they hunting you?" Of course she didn't answer. She simply slept, her tiny hands tucked close to her chest.